Welcome to Super Flixx, the podcast covering superhero, sci-fi, and fantasy movies. I am one of your hosts, Eugene. Plowed in with me, as always, my podcast partner, Joe Hartley. What's up, man?
What's going on?
We are members of the Martial Arts InterNetwork, and you can check out our other show, Fist Kicks and Flicks, every Thursday on the Martial Arts InterNetwork. Joe, it's showtime. What's up, man?
I like that intro, man. I liked them both, but that was a fun one.
Yeah, Brett did that. Brett Shumway, he
Yeah,
did that one.
yeah.
Yeah.
That one gave more of like the comic animation version of the
Mm-hmm.
characters, and like yours had like the movie. So I thought it was
Mm-hmm.
pretty good.
Yeah.
I could see
So
us doing like one for the intro, one for the outro. That'd be fun.
and that's what I did.
I like it. I like it.
That's exactly what I did, man. But I had a hard time with that, man. When Brett sent that intro over to me last week, I had to find a way to shrink it because I tried to put it in and StreamYard wouldn't take it.
Okay.
So I texted him and said, man, is there any way for you to make this smaller? And he was at work at the time and couldn't figure it out. So I said, don't worry about it. I'll work on it and figure it out. And I found I had to, man, nowadays, man, with Google and YouTube, you can find out anything.
Just
So,
about.
that's why I be having a hard time. Like, I don't understand how kids don't get all A's and B's. You if you're doing your homework, like the answers are out there. You can just look
Mm-hmm.
up an answer on YouTube, Google. They'll show you all the steps to how to do some homework
Yeah.
or whatever. And if you know your homework, you got your homework, you can study your homework, figure out, how they arrived at that problem or that answer. Man, you should be good, you know?
Yep.
When I went back to school, man, I definitely was not a straight A student. I mean, one year I had straight A's, the whole year, sixth grade, I killed it. But um, school, I was an average student. But I went back to school in 2015. I went back to college, because I wanted to finish up some classes and retake some classes and stuff like that, man. And I was getting A's and B's because we had Google, you know,
Yeah.
and it wasn't as hard as what I remember the first time I was in college. It wasn't that bad, man. So
Right. That's
if I
crazy.
had if I had time, I'll take some more classes. But man, I'm a very, very busy person. So as of right now, I don't have time right now. But something that's
No,
been on
not
my
at
mind.
all. For
Something that's
sure.
been on my mind, man. So what's up, man?
Yeah,
How's everything going?
pretty
It's not like I
good.
haven't talked to you.
I know, right? It's only been a couple days. Uh, Not much really. Since we talked last, we got the archery banquet is tomorrow, so we'll get that all set up with all. That's the see all the kids. My son, he'll go. They're gonna have a dinner, pass out some awards, see how that goes. Other than that, my son is auditioning tomorrow, also before the banquet, for his play coming up. I never heard of this play, man. It's called Black and White. It's like there's a black knight and a white knight, and they're trying to impress Princess Gray.
Okay.
So I guess it's real. It gets kind of sassy and very political. So we'll see.
Mm, okay. For those of you who don't know, in addition to being a martial artist, Joe is also an archery instructor. So,
Yes.
and since we're doing Superflix, this just came to me as you were talking, man. Well, who do you relate to more, Hawkeye or Green Arrow?
Ooh. Let's see. Who do I relate to more? Probably Hawkeye, but who do I like more? Green Arrow.
Now, is that because of the show Arrow?
Oh man, Green Arrow. Not only is he a badass archer, but the dude's rich.
Yeah. I never, I always knew who Green Arrow was. I never really paid that much attention to him. I mean, he was pretty much like when I was growing up, he looked like Robin Hood.
Yep.
I didn't care. Like that looks like a silly superhero costume. So I never related to him at all. And Hawkeye, Hawkeye was just always an Avenger, but like the Avenger books that I had back then, he wasn't talking. He was just there. He was just in the background, just standing around. And he had a little Wolverine like type of mask on. It was just like, all right, this guy shoots arrows. Like, I never really gravitated toward neither one of them until the Avenger movies, and we started seeing a different type of Hawkeye, and then also the Arrow show. And that's actually, I really got into the Arrow show, and that's where I really learned about Oliver Queen and everything that was going on with him.
Yeah, Arrow the show did a really good job for the first, I'd say 4, 5 seasons.
Hmm.
After that, it just started going downhill.
Hmm. And I think
And it
that's why they
really,
pretty much started to end it also.
yeah, I was mad because I enjoyed that show a lot. I kind of wanted it to get better as it went along, not kind of trail off. But a lot of those shows like that, that's kind of what happens with them. Because the same thing kind of happened with Smallville, even though Smallville was pretty good to the end. Um, the Flash was not so good after season 4, but the last season they were okay. But the the 2 seasons before the last season, they just, I don't know what they were trying to do, but it got too weird.
Yeah, you know
So
what? Man, it's funny you say that because I remember watching. I think the last Flash episode that I saw was when man, I'm blanking on his girlfriend's name.
Iris,
Yeah, Iris. Iris was trapped in a mirror,
yeah,
and
that
that's
was the
when I
season that just
that's okay. That's safe for you
it was
too.
executed poorly. The
Okay.
story for that is actually pretty good, but
Hmm.
they executed it very poorly. So
Yeah, that's when I checked out. I was like, okay. And then at that point in time too, Oliver was gone. They just finished this big crossover between
mhm.
Arrow, Flash, Batwoman, uh, Legends of Tomorrow. Was it another show? Supergirl.
Supergirl, yeah.
Yeah, and also Black Lightning. All of them kind of crossed over at that
Now
time, and
see, Black
I
Lightning
love
was
those
great.
shows.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Black
Yeah,
Black Lightning was good, but it ended too soon.
yeah, it did, didn't it? Yeah, it
I
did.
think they weren't getting the ratings they wanted, but I don't know. I enjoyed that show a lot actually.
I did too, and that's one of the things I did like about the DC CW shows was, man, I never cared about any of those characters that were on any of those shows. I mean,
Yeah,
I think the person I'm probably cared about the most might have been the Flash, and that's just because he was in Justice League, and I knew that
yep.
him and Green Lantern were cool with each other. But I never really cared about Green Arrow. I never really cared about Supergirl. I never really cared about Batwoman. Especially those two versions of Batwoman, because they were two different characters. Um,
Well, the original actress from the first season
mhm.
dropped out.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
She
and
had
I
a
saw the
mental
first.
breakdown, and it
Oh, that's what
sucks
it was.
because yeah, she had a mental breakdown. So that's why they switched over to another character, and they always left it open for her to come back. But
Yeah, they did.
the the new character, she was so good, the new character could not take over. It just didn't work.
You know who's friends with that girl that played the new black Batwoman?
Who
Travis.
really?
Yes,
Where did
Travis
he
got a
meet her?
connection with her. And I believe he met her in DC.
No
Yeah,
kidding.
Travis knows her well. Yep, he knows her well. Yep.
That's
So yeah, I
crazy.
didn't, I definitely did not know any of those characters in Legends of Tomorrow. And like we said, man, we're pretty much Marvel guys when we were younger. So
Yes.
I just never got into DC like that. But those shows did introduce me to those characters, and I have a better appreciation for those characters now. You know.
Yeah, that's one thing CW did really well, and I kind of wonder, that's CW itself kind of trailed off after all these shows went off the air
Mm-hmm.
because it was really all the DC shows and then Supernatural keeping
Mm-hmm.
CW alive, really.
Mm-hmm.
And they had some decent rerun shows. They rerun Friends and King of Queens and
Mm-hmm.
Big Bang Theory and stuff. But other than that, I mean, yeah, the whole DC universe Plus, like I said, Supernatural is kind of keeping them afloat. I
Is
think
super
I think they got absorbed by Max now.
those shows? I think those shows are on Max. Yeah, they are.
No, CW. I think CW itself got absorbed by Max.
I think it was always a Warner Brothers channel.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
you're
all
right.
yeah
You're right. I
yeah.
didn't
It
think
was
about
always
that.
always
Yeah,
a Warner Brothers channel.
because I know for a minute during its popularity, CW tried to create its own streaming service, but it was not very good.
Okay. Yeah, I remember the CW app. Yeah, that's right. They had a CW app.
Yeah,
And you
they
know
were
what?
really trying to get you. You could watch everything for free with ads, and then
Hmm.
I think eventually, if it got popular enough, they were hoping to start charging for it, but it just never took off.
I didn't watch. What did I? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. But I remember watching Arrow. I, I believe Arrow used to be on Netflix at one point in time. I think it was on a streaming service
Yeah,
because
a lot of those transfer over to Netflix.
yeah, because I remember the first couple seasons of Arrow I did not watch. I just didn't watch it at all. And I don't think it wasn't until Flash got on Arrow is when I started watching it, and then I went back and watched the first couple seasons of Arrow, and
Yeah,
then kind of got into that show. Let me ask you this, man. So I know we talked about this on Fist Kicks and Flicks, but you go to comic conventions. Well, at least here, the Motor City Comic Book Convention, right?
yeah. I do want to go to San Diego. That's the biggest one.
Yeah, it
Uh,
is.
that's a bucket list of mine for sure
You
to go
better
to the San Diego Comic Con.
and you better have your money saved up for it too, because that is not going to be a
Yeah,
cheap
I
trip.
know, I know. But they do a lot of big anime reveals, trailers. They do trailers
Mhm.
for a lot for Marvel, DC, and a lot of anime trailers. So I really want to go to that, and I want to spend the whole 3 days there. So yeah, I want to save my money.
You might as well spend the week there because you're gonna be tired. You can't. I mean,
Yeah,
you can't just go there once you go to San
true,
Diego. If you're gonna
true.
fly all the way across country, you might as well, you know, spend some more days in San Diego and see San Diego with the family. You never know. You might go up to LA, you might go to Disneyland, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I
definitely gonna
got
have to save
family
up
in
for that.
I got family in California, but I think they're more towards like Orange County or something like that. So
Okay. Okay. And that's where I've been most of the time when I've gone to California. I've been in Orange County, but I did go to San Diego. I have been to San Diego. It was real nice there, real nice. I didn't go for the comic convention. They have trademarked that name. You can't
what's that?
really. You're not supposed to say Comic Con. They are Comic Con, San Diego Comic Con. So other comic book conventions technically are not supposed to use Comic Con in their name now. They
Oh,
just
really?
Yeah, they just did this a couple years ago.
That doesn't
Yeah,
shock me.
yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, coming up in May, Motor City, they got some good people showing up for that one, and they're still adding
Hmm.
uh, a lot of Marvel and a lot of what did I just see? I'm gonna have to look it up now. But anyhow, uh, I've never spent the money to do like the meet and greets. I
Hmm.
would like to. There's like 2 years ago when they had the Karate Kid.
Hmm.
You know, uh, I saw a lot of my friends got good pictures from that, and I was kind of bummed. But it was like $300 to take a picture, man.
Yeah, and guess what? Guess how much I paid?
Huh?
I paid $20. I got a picture
For
with William Zabka, Johnny. I got one with him. I got one with
where'd you do
Martin
that?
Cove. Hmm? So
Where'd you do that?
I did at Motor City Comic Con. Now this is the thing though. When I did when I met William Zabka, this was in 2018, right after the first season came out. The first season came out in April, and this is May of 2018. Nobody was there. Nobody was standing in front of his booth or anything. It was just me and him, and we talked for a while. I gave him a jump kick shirt, which was pretty cool, and took the picture. Now, me and my dad, we went a couple years before that, and we met Martin Cove, and I just happened to get his picture. Also, me and my dad got his picture. My dad didn't even remember taking a picture with him. We did that. Yeah, he didn't because I'm debating with him. He was like, "No, we didn't." I said, "Dad, I have the picture. I had to pull it up
I was gonna
and
say,
show.
show him that picture.
Yeah, I did. I had to pull it up and show it to him. He was like, "Man, I don't even remember this." We also met Burt Young that day also, who played Paulie in Rocky.
Yeah,
We met him, and the funny thing about him was, I mean, that's what happens a lot of times at these conventions, man. Sometimes you'll see a famous person and you can kind of feel bad for them because nobody is standing in front of them taking their picture or anything, right? So, Burt Young, my dad just said something to him and he just started talking to us and talking and talking and talking. And then he said, "You guys want a picture?" And we said, "Yeah, yeah, cool." So we took the picture. We took a couple of pictures with him. He didn't even want any money. He was like, "No, no, that's no
oh, that's
problem, no
nice.
problem." Yeah.
That's
So I
nice,
got a
man.
picture with him too, and that made me think about this. We're gonna get back to the convention. I was surprised he didn't do more Italian gangster, mafia movies because he could have played
Yeah,
that role.
heck yeah, I could have 100%.
Yeah, yeah. But actually, he kind of did. Do you remember the movie Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield?
Yeah,
He's in that movie. He's Rodney Dangerfield's I don't want to say sidekick, but he's like his bodyguard or something. And
yeah.
he is kind of like an Italian gangster in that movie. So I'm kind of surprised he never had more roles. Maybe he did, and I just haven't seen enough mob movies, but I don't remember him doing any mob movies.
Nothing I could think of. No, for sure.
Okay. So anyway, back to what we were talking about. Your
Oh
kids,
yeah,
they
Comic Con.
dress up, right? They dress up for these
Yeah,
conventions.
we all try to dress up when
Oh,
we
you
can.
too. Okay.
Oh yeah, I did Fat Thor. I was trying to put together. Yeah, that was a fun one, bro. I ran into
You
some
got me
work
with that one,
people.
man.
Listen, I ran into some work people dressed like that, and I took my hammer and I hit my buddy, and he looked at me for a minute. He was like at first I thought he was gonna come at me, and he goes, "Wait a second." He's like, "Joe." I was like, "Yeah, man. What you think? It's just random Thors walking around trying to hit people? Come on, I'm not trying to get beat up."
What? Okay, so
But
you
yeah, it
did
was
that.
fun.
What else? I've never been anybody that's ever gotten into cosplay. That's just never been my thing.
That was fun because then anybody that I ran into that was an Avenger, I was taking stupid pictures with them.
Hmm.
I ran into Ant Man, Groot, Star, what's his face,
Star Lord.
Star Lord,
Okay.
uh, female Loki.
Okay.
She kept following me around, and she was like she was overdressed. Let's just say that. And I kept having to tell her, I'm like, because I was with my kids and my wife wasn't there. I kept telling her,
Oh,
I
I
was like,
was
I'm married. I said, I'm married. I was like, you gotta go somewhere else. So I can take a picture and that's it. Leave me alone.
yeah, saved
That was
yourself.
bad. It was bad. I was like, oh man. And of course, the kids, right when they get home, first thing they do is, Mom.
Oh my gosh. Dad's
So
taking picture with random women.
yeah, pretty much. But
Did you?
I mean, some people they go there just to they treat it like it's Halloween, man.
Yeah, they
There's
do.
there's there's the girls that, I mean, and I'm surprised they let them do this because there's a lot of kids walking around. But I mean, there's girls, big and small, man, with thongs on and stuff. I'm
Hmm.
like, okay, I get that maybe a character is a little risque, but
Hmm.
come on, man, this is a family event. Like,
Yeah,
get it together. It's all good. Like,
yeah.
we can all have some fun and keep it nice, you know.
Hmm.
But there's some people that go all out.
They have a
What was
contest at
the
that. They have a contest there at Motor City.
yeah the 3 years ago, there was a guy dressed. He had the whole Flash Gordon,
Okay.
but he had the spaceship, and he was walking around with the spaceship going real slow,
Hmm.
and he was playing the theme song,
Okay.
and he had minions around him.
Now,
He had the minions of what were they? They're like angels or something like that. It was funny.
was the spaceship big? Was it huge?
No, it was just like enough for him to stand on. It was like a
Okay.
remote control. But
Okay.
it was, yeah, it kind of surrounded his feet, and then he was just walking around fully. He had the whole get up, and was playing the theme song. Like,
Hmm.
he went all out. That was funny. I was I was laughing at that one.
This um this one year I saw someone who was Optimus Prime.
Yeah, that
This
was
guy,
I've seen that. That was a good one.
yeah, that thing was huge. Like he wasn't like the normal human size. Like he was standing on stilts or something. Because this
Yeah,
guy that I saw was huge, and I think he won the contest that year for that.
we saw a good a few years ago, a real good Ghost Rider.
Mm, okay. My dad
He had
gets
the flames that where they could light up and everything.
my dad likes taking pictures of all the cosplay people. That's never really been my thing. When I was a teenager, I went there for the comic books. I was always looking for
Oh
rare
heck yeah,
comics that I couldn't find in the stores, this, that, and other. So I would do that, and then I would get different artists to give me their signatures, get their autographs and things like that. Now, since I'm a cartoonist myself, like I go there for the panels now. So I'll go and listen to someone about breaking into the comic industry, or I'll go and listen to somebody about creative writing and all of that stuff, different type of art panels, and so I've spent hours going from panel to panel to panel to panel,
yeah.
and when there's been a time where I haven't had any panels, I'll walk around real quick and come back. That's what I mainly do. I was thinking about creative getting my comic book collection back again, man, because I lost all of my books, well, most of my books when we had a flood at my parents' house, and I had all those comics in the basement, man, in a regular box, not
Oh
in anything, man. They all got soaked in. I had some good stuff, man. Stuff from
dang,
anything from the main stuff from, if you say 88 or 89 to 95, I had everything. So and that was just a sick feeling. Now I might have one box left, might be in my parents' attic, but other than that, most of about 80% of my comics are gone, man. So
that sucks, man.
yeah, it is. I
You
want
know
to
what?
cry,
I
man.
had I had I had a lot of X-Men cards, and I wish
Oh
I could
yeah.
find like I found a pack the other day, and I had the real good ones I had sealed up in a little
Hmm.
plastic thing.
Hmm.
But I can't. I think my brother might have them, or they might be at my mom's somewhere. I just found a bunch of baseball, football, and basketball cards at my mom's.
I
I
got my
was looking at the
basketball
other day.
cards here. I got my basketball cards here, but you made me think that I might have another box of comics because I did have cards and they were in the plastic,
Yeah,
individual dividers and everything. And I haven't seen those things since hell, sometime in the mid 90s. So those should be at my mom's house. It has to be in the attic because I know it's not in my old bedroom or anything like that. My dad took that thing over my old bedroom.
I always
But
liked the cards because the cards had
hmm
some really good animation, especially like when you get the ones and you get like a foil one.
yeah,
I always kept the foil ones, thinking they would, one they were cool, but I also thought maybe they'd be worth something one day,
maybe for your great grandkids they will be. Because how many of
right?
those things are gonna be around by then? you know,
Who knows, man? I don't even know if you can buy those anymore, other than like
I
a
don't know.
specialty store or something.
I remember one day I'm walking around the convention and I saw a Michael Jackson doll. I had the Michael Jackson doll. That Michael Jackson doll was $400. They were selling it for $400.
Dang,
And I
dang,
was just like, oh my God, I remember having this damn doll as a kid, and if only I would have known then that our stuff would have increased in value. I knew my dad's
right?
stuff and my uncle's stuff increased in value, but I didn't have any idea that our stuff was going to do it also. You know. All
You
right.
know, a lot of that stuff for the right person can sell, especially with like eBay and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Definitely, definitely. All right. Let's talk about Superman 2. What did you think about this movie before we break it down?
There's a lot to talk about in this, good and bad, but for the most part, um, I mean, the first 5 minutes they did like a full recap
You didn't
of
even
the
have to
original movie.
watch the first movie if you really didn't want to.
Honestly, I
everything
mean,
everything that was important in the first movie was put at the beginning of this movie while the credits were rolling.
I think a lot of movies in this time like to do that because Rocky used to do the first 5 minutes of Rocky was always the recap of the original.
Yeah, but wasn't it just the ending though? Like the ending fight
Yeah,
or the this was the whole movie. I mean that I even paused it at first because when it started, they're showing Zod and those other two. I don't remember their names. Was it Nod and I don't remember the lady's name. They're showing them, what they were doing with it when they got captured. And I had to pause. I'm like,
yeah.
wait a minute, did I play the correct movie? And I had to stop it and take a look. But they go through all of that, and then they show him going to coming to Earth and everything.
You know what's crazy? So the beginning of this movie starts off with Clark. He's at the Daily Planet. He's talking to Perry White, and he's talking. They're talking about a terrorist, um, their terrorist bombing uh, taking place in Paris. And Clark's
Hmm.
asking about it, and he's also looking for Lois because he's always looking for Lois.
He's a
And Perry
stalker.
tells him, "Oh, I sent her there already on a plane." Now, if there's a terrorist trying to send a bomb at like the Empire State Building or whatever in Paris or the Leaning Tower, whatever they're trying to do, why are you sending a reporter there?
Well, we see stuff like that all the time, like CNN
Yeah, yeah, but
or Fox News or I
but
mean,
Lois is so crazy.
yes,
Lois
I have a
tries to
problem with
like
this part.
actually go and climb up and like get the exclusive heads like right in front of her.
Now that
It
doesn't make
makes
any
no
sense.
sense,
That made no sense because I was like, she's not an investigator. She's not a police officer. She's not a superhero. She's not a soldier. What is she planning to do? She's just gonna go up there to look.
well,
I
that's the
gotta.
thing because she was climbing this doggone thing in heels nonetheless, and then she ended up in like some kind of weird elevator like under the terrorists,
Yeah,
but she almost like trapped herself.
yeah.
But then on top of that, like, okay, they're trying to blow this thing up. So what is your plan if they set the bomb and they're either ready to die themselves or they set the bomb and they take off,
You were thinking like me, man, because I was thinking the same thing when I saw this part. I didn't understand like what was going through her mind to make her want to climb up here and do this thing. That was ridiculous.
Pulitzer. That's what she kept talking about, a
Yeah,
Pulitzer
but what?
or
Like
a Nobel Prize or something,
she didn't need to climb up. She could have just stayed on the ground and just wrote her story of what she was
right?
witnessing. Like she didn't need to get up. Like what was she gonna say? I saw them put the bomb in a canister. Like I didn't understand
I
what
don't.
was her
I
purpose.
said the same thing, man. Nobel Prize. That's what she kept talking about. Nobel, and she was spelling it out. Why is she spelling?
Yeah. I figured she was
I
nervous
don't
at
know.
that point when she was doing that. I just figured she was scared.
Yeah, I get it because she was hanging at the bottom of a doggone elevator.
Under an
Meanwhile,
elevator.
yeah, there's just so many things that could have went wrong here. Anyhow, um, even crazier. So of course we know Clark's gonna turn into Superman. He's gonna go save Lois. That's pretty much the theme in all these movies. But even crazier is one, he shows up, he saves Lois, but he takes the bomb to space.
Hmm.
Why?
Yes. Well, because it was
Why
a
did you
hydrogen
take?
bomb. It was a hydrogen bomb, right?
Okay,
Now, this is what I was talking about. I alluded to last week, man, because he took that bomb and well, number one, he just saw the elevator coming out. He didn't know that the bomb was there. Like, why would he know that as he's
I
flying
don't know.
toward as he's flying toward Paris? And then he gets there. Of course, he saves for whatever reason. If you saw the elevator falling down, why would you think, let me stop this elevator from going down? Why would you think that?
I don't
I
know.
I, I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have. It just would have went down. I would have, probably flew around the Eiffel Tower or whatever. But anyway, he stops it and sees Lois and lets her off, and then he takes it to space. Right now, this is what I
Yeah,
was talking about. When he threw this bomb in space and it exploded, the explosion it what releases Zod and his crew. Why were
Yeah,
they in the area? They should have been light years away in the negative zone. They should not have been around here, and the
well,
waves should not have reached them.
the Phantom Zone supposedly flies around endlessly in
Oh,
space,
Phantom Zone, my bad. Yes.
but yeah, like you said, the so the
It's not like
bomb.
Krypton. It's not like Krypton was in our solar system.
True.
So they should have been long ways away from Earth.
So he releases them from the Phantom Zone, which is just so ridiculous because why if it's just that easy to like
Exactly. They
that was
what
a mess.
no meteorite didn't hit them at any point in time. They've been floating around in space. No asteroid, no
That's
anything.
what I was wondering.
They didn't bump into another planet. Nothing. And
So
somehow they
another
made it all
thing,
the way to this galaxy, this universe.
so they're back at the Daily Planet, and Clark sees Lois. He just darts across the road. He gets hit by a taxi, but of course, it doesn't hurt him because he's Superman. But the taxi looking like, what happened?
Well, hold on. Before you continue going, you're right. He didn't even arrest the terrorists, did he?
I
He
thought he
just was.
just threw him away with the bomb.
I mean, they weren't in the elevator. They were still on the Eiffel Tower. Like he didn't go
Oh
grab
yeah.
them
So
and bring.
what happened with the terror? You're right. What happened with the terrorists? Just
But we
worried
see
about getting
something
rid of the
like
bomb.
we see something like this again later on too. It's like,
I
what
know.
happened to the bad guys? You just left them? Okay, go ahead.
Um, Also, for whatever reason, Lois is obsessed with orange juice and getting her daily vitamin C.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was or whatever, but no big deal. Um, we go to prison where, of course, Lex Luthor he's the smartest man, so he's figuring out his next move against Superman is to fly north because he knows there's got to be something good there because every time Superman leaves the scene, he goes north. What? What?
That's what you said. What about? I was saying, what about like you're really going to escape in a hot air balloon? That's how you
Well,
escape.
that's a whole different story. But he literally said that's his next plan because apparently he created a black box that was catching some kind of waves,
And yeah, alpha waves. And where did he
alpha
get the
waves.
material?
Yeah,
Where did he get the material to create this box?
I don't know,
Like
man.
you're in prison. Like your options are limited as things that you can have.
Um, Either way, so he's got to escape prison. He's got to go north until he finds whatever he's got to find,
He didn't even
and
know what he was
then
looking for.
I know, but he assumed that's where Superman was coming from.
How would he know that? Like I would have just thought like that was like ice sculptures or anything. I
Because
wouldn't.
just like he tells us every time, he's the smartest man on earth. So yeah, so he's planning. Apparently, at this point, he's planning an escape. Now, the crazy thing is, we go before that. We see, people on the moon. They're they're doing getting their tests. They got the little Mars rovers. They're all doing their thing, and they're talking to Houston, and then Zod and his cronies show up,
Yep,
and literally for no reason.
Non and Laura, the other lady. Her name was Laura. Just a regular name,
Laura,
huh? Yeah,
I guess.
Laura,
But
Lara, and Non.
they show up. They have no idea what's going on, and they just start like messing with these people. They just start killing them.
Yeah,
They don't find out who they are. They don't ask any questions really. They just, oh look, you're so primitive, and yeah, so they kill everybody over here, and then they think Houston because Houston's trying to talk to the astronauts. So they think Houston is like where they have to go.
Yeah.
But if you've never been there, how the hell do you know where Houston is?
I mean, I was thinking like that about how they figured out that the yellow sun was giving them powers. They just, oh, we
Yeah.
must be getting powers from the yellow sun, and we can fly all of a sudden. We can breathe this
No,
big.
I think Jarrell and the scientists had said the yellow sun will give. I think that was a whole
Oh,
scientific thing that happened on Krypton a while back.
okay. So
They
if
don't
that was
talk about it here, but I think it's a well-known knowledge.
so, they already knew that if they're around the yellow sun, then they would get extra powers. That's what you're saying?
I believe so.
If that is the case, why would Zod ever care about ruling Krypton? I would just go to some planet that has a yellow sun
True.
and
But
get these extra powers. Well, I don't know, man, because they kind of figured it out like they just like the idea just came to them. They didn't seem like they didn't say it like they knew that that's how they were getting. They were like, well, it looks like we're getting these extra powers from the sun because like they didn't know that all of a sudden they were gonna
but
have
if they're
I
in
beam.
if they're in space, should they still have powers?
I
Are
I wouldn't
are
I
you that
wouldn't.
close to the sun? I kind of always
Well, I
wondered
mean,
about
they were
it.
by our moon, so if they're by our moon, then I'm
Yeah, that's
assuming
true.
that they should. Yeah.
That's true. Either way, yeah, they did. Zod seemed to pick up his powers pretty quickly. The other guy, his Nod or whatever, he was having
Nah, yeah.
trouble. He really wanted to use his eye beams, but
Hmm.
they were not working so well. And I guess Laura, she figured hers out okay too. Um, yeah, my thing is Zod in the comics and any other show you've ever watched, he's such a serious character.
Hmm.
I still kind of think they made him more like Lex Luthor. He was kind of a spoof.
In this, in this,
Yeah,
he seemed pretty serious to me. He didn't seem. No, actually, none of them seemed silly to me. I got tired of their voices. Like I don't know, but I was
yeah.
just
Maybe
assuming
the
that was just a
voice is
sign of
what
the
was
time.
bothering me.
Yeah.
Maybe the voices. I don't know. Zod is like literally supposed to be one of the big bads
Hmm.
in this. So I just I'm expecting more of like a dominating presence,
Hmm.
and he was just kind of more like kneel before me, and it's supposed to be kneel before Zod. You know what I'm saying? Like it was
Hmm.
just a little bit. It just made it kind of hokey, and I think it could have been a little better. But
I think it goes back
yeah,
to
then
what I
we
was
get.
saying last week. Like it was just the writing. This is, but at the same
Yeah,
time,
I think
man,
you're right. Yeah, I think you're right.
Star Wars was around at this time also. As a matter of fact, they were on. I think by the time this came out, you said this came out in '81, right?
That's what it said. Yeah,
So this would have been around the same time as Empire Strikes Back because that came out around this time also, and that writing was great especially compared to this. So I don't know,
yeah.
man. I don't know. It was
Well,
just something about the writing.
so Lex and his guy are escaping, and like you said, why is there a random hot air balloon in a prison yard? But
How did you?
also,
Why would
how
Miss?
was
Go
Miss
ahead.
Tessmacher
That was her.
not in jail? I know, but
No,
was she not in jail?
she wasn't in jail. No. Remember
So
at
she
the
never
end
went
of
to jail.
no, at the end of one, it was just Otis and Luther that Superman took to jail. He didn't take
Oh, he
this
didn't take
taskmaster.
was Tessmacher. Oh,
Mm.
well, but she still committed a lot of crimes.
Well, she did, but I guess because she helped him
Okay,
at the
so
end of the
she
first one.
showed up with the balloon.
Yes, she showed up with the
Okay, that
balloon.
makes more sense. That makes more
Y-
sense now.
Yeah, that was
Okay,
her with the balloon. But
okay. Thought it was just a random balloon in a prison yard. I didn't realize it was she
no, no,
brought it.
no.
Okay,
Yeah, that
that
was
makes more
her.
sense.
No, but no, it doesn't make sense because Lex was gonna blow up her mom. Like I wouldn't save this asshole. I would have left him in
True,
there.
true,
He did not care anything about her mom. You know.
true. Now, I don't know what story Lois and Clark have to cover in the Niagara Falls, but for
That
whatever reason, they are going under the guise that they're a couple, like a brand new newlywed couple, and staying in a newlywed suite.
it did not make any sense.
But did they ever
They
say
were
what the
trying to
story
expose.
was?
Yeah, they said they did. They said they were trying to expose they were trying to expose something. Which what I was just wondering, like, what at Niagara Falls? Like, what's going on wrong in Niagara Falls? That you guys are not you guys are not police officers. You don't need to go undercover. Nobody's going to know that you're with a newspaper.
right?
Nobody's going to know. It's not like you guys are newscasters. We're not looking at you every night on the channel on Channel 5 new the 5 o'clock news. We're not looking at you. You're a newspaper person. We don't know who you are, especially in the early 80s. There's no internet. So you don't know who these news,
No,
the writers are, the reporters are. So as far as them going undercover to expose this ring of whatever they went with there for, that really didn't make any sense. And they never did it. Whatever they were trying to do, we never saw them looking into anything or
well,
looking for someone or trying to expose anything.
there's a bigger reason for that later, but not quite. But the whole newlywed thing, Clark really is trying to play it up. Like Lois is just like, this is a cover. She don't care less.
Yeah.
But Clark he wants to play it up. He's very interested in making this newlywed thing work, trying to hold hands and get really close with Lois. So he's
What
still
did he
so
think
smitten.
what did he think was going to happen? Like to me,
I
I was
don't even
watching it
know.
and I was thinking like he must be planning to tell her that he's Superman. Because
Nah,
why is he going through everything he's going, like imagine if she was like it seemed like he wanted her to fall in love with Clark Kent. Okay, let's say that happened. Then what?
he did want her to.
Yeah, but then what? If she would have done that, he would have had to say, "Oh, guess what? I know I just turned your oven on. I just preheated the oven, but we can't cook, baby. You got to know something else before we go any further." You know?
True. This next part is a little crazy because there's a kid playing by the Niagara Falls on the outside of the gate,
Hmm.
and the mom's not really paying attention. But like you would think, other people would be like, "Man, get your
Yeah,
damn kid. This
yeah,
is dangerous."
yeah.
So, but at this time, Clark was going to get a hot dog for Lois. So, of course, when the kid falls to his watery death, Superman shows up. Superman shows up, and Lois was already thinking there's a possibility that Clark is Superman.
Yeah, because he took his glasses off because his glasses were steaming up. Dude, like your glasses are steaming up. Why didn't he just turn his back and wipe his glasses instead of having Lois take them off and wipe them, and then she gets a good look at his face?
Yeah, but he's not thinking about that. But this really, like I said, now that she's like, there's no reason for Superman to be in this at Niagara Falls any more than in Paris anymore. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, she's a good investigative reporter. She's really got to understand, like, oh, like something not adding up here. So she decides she's gonna follow. She tells him
Mm-hmm.
that he's Superman, and he's like, "Oh yeah, right." And then she's like, "I'm gonna prove it." She throws herself into the Niagara Falls, into
Mm-hmm.
the fast rapids, thinking that he will reveal being Superman and save her. But instead, he tries to save her as Clark Kent,
Mm-hmm.
which is hilarious to me only because he goes through all that. Now, he did use the laser vision to cut a tree to help her.
Yeah, but he made sure that she couldn't see him do that.
Yeah. But he goes through all this to make sure she can't and then they go back to the room. He falls in the fire and then has to reveal himself.
Yeah, but did
Like,
you?
come on, man.
But this is the funny part. So he does that, and then he's thinking like, okay, I'm about to reveal myself to Lois. He doesn't do it right there. He walks all the way over to the bed. Did you notice
Yeah.
that? And then he takes his glasses off. To me, that was like a subliminal message to her. Like, all right, come on, get some of this super. You know what? You
Oh,
know
of
what?
course. He's been trying to give her the super whatever for a while.
Right,
Now,
right.
at the same time, while before or after all this, Lex Luthor has gone north until he can't go north anymore, and made it to, the Fortress of Solitude. Which,
Yeah.
by the way, you would think, because any, I'm trying to think about the comics, but any other show that I've ever watched with Superman, you can't just walk right into the Fortress of Solitude. Like, there is somewhat of a security measure.
Yeah, yeah. I know that from watching the animated shows that he has some robots or something that protect it also. And isn't that where Krypton is? I mean, Crypto, the dog. Isn't that where the dog is
Yeah,
also? So
yeah, at some point.
you definitely just can't go walking into Fortress of Solitude.
But the crazy thing is, like, Lex Luthor just walks in like he owns the place. Uh,
He knows that Superman's place too.
and he gets the mom and the dad up talking about Zod.
Yeah, he knows how to use the equipment there also. He figures that out also
Like
with
I
these
said,
crystals.
so by hearing this whole thing about Zod, I guess he figures that's where his alpha wave tracker has been picking up. So
Yep.
he's going to decide, he decides he's going to be the welcoming party for Zod and his cronies and use them against Superman.
He shouldn't have never made it to where they were. He's in the North
I know.
Pole. They are in Texas. Like how you you're just gonna go on a dog sled all the way from the North Pole to Houston to
Maybe he
Texas?
took his maybe he took his balloon. I don't know.
Yeah, right. He should have got there 6 months then.
Honestly, I think Lex Luthor should have just stayed in jail in this movie, and it should have just been focused on Zod because Lex didn't really have a big part in this movie.
Oh, he really didn't. Not at all. And once again, he's still not the Lex Luthor that we know either.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
yeah, not at all.
Not even close, really.
No.
Um, so now that Lois has figured out and Clark has revealed himself to her, he takes her. He's like, she wants no more. So he basically he says, now that you know who I am, I
This is
want to tell you everything.
this is stupid.
So yeah, and so yeah, I want to tell you everything, but not here. I gotta take you to my home.
No, he said we can't talk here because Perry's gonna call at 6 o'clock. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah,
okay, what does that have to do with anything? So because Perry's gonna call, we're gonna leave. What?
yeah, but that so now you're not gonna be there to get Perry's call. You
Yeah,
do have a
exactly.
job, fool.
Exactly. That made no sense. Let me take you to my house. That made
Left
no sense.
completely left the assignment and off to
They never go
you
back.
know
They don't go back and get their luggage or anything.
nope. I mean, literally, while Zod and everybody's kind of destroying everything and basically taking over the world, Superman's deciding he don't want to be Superman anymore just to get some booty.
Yeah, and he should have. So he tells Lois everything about himself, and he shows her the Forces of Solitude, and she sees the holograms of his parent or his mom, and that was dumb because this whole time, both of these movies, we see that Lois is in love with Superman. She is not in love with Clark Kent,
I
but he
know. I said the
and
same thing while I'm watching this.
well, she kind of says that too because she sees him getting ready to give up his powers, and she just kind of closes his eyes like this motherfucker. I can't believe he's about to do this.
Well, and I think she's impressed by that, but yeah, she never really loved Clark Kent. She was in love with Superman, but now that she realizes they're the same person, all of a sudden she loves Clark Kent now.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Not one bit.
No.
And now you better love this fool because he literally not only does he want to give up his powers, he gives up his powers
Hmm.
for Lois. And when he asked the computer about it because the computer, as his mom, said, we hope this day would never come, but there is a way. And it's through their red sun. Well, but the mom said it would permanently take his powers away.
Yes. Yes, she did.
But for whatever reason, it wasn't permanent.
I got a theory. I'm not sure if this is right or not, but let's continue. So,
Yeah. So while all this is going on and Lois and Clark are living their so-called dream life, like I said, the Earth is now being. Zod has decided he's gonna take over Houston, but then he realizes Houston isn't the world. Like he's gonna take over Earth.
yeah, so one of the generals, he got into the military showed up to attack him, and nothing's working on them. And I guess he talks to one of the generals, and he asked the general who did he report to. He said, I only report to the president. So then he
Yep.
knows, okay, I gotta go see this president, and I'm gonna make him kneel to me.
Yeah, this is
So
where he starts this whole Neo before Zod thing.
yeah,
And
you
like I
must have really
said,
got tired of that, huh?
no, I knew that was coming. That's Zod's thing. The Neo.
Okay.
The only thing it wasn't that I got tired of it. I was waiting for the for in this it was more like Neo before Zod. I'm like, you just gotta get into it, man. Neo before Zod. Like that's what I was waiting for.
Hmm.
That's what I'm used to. That's how the comic books does it. That's how the all the other movies like Zod is like this big presence, and all he wants is he just wants to rule anybody.
I saw a one strip one time, and it was Zod, and he was like waiting in line, like I don't know, at a restaurant or something, and he looked sad. His head was down, and there was a person in front of him, and the person in front of him's name was Neil, and the caption was he was sad, and he was like Neil's before Zod, and he was sad about it.
That's actually pretty good. I like that. People get so creative.
Yeah, they do.
So
Uh,
the other thing that made me laugh about so they shoot like a bazooka at him at the Nod,
mhm.
and he catches it and bends the bomb, but it doesn't explode. Like, how does it not explode? He just caught it. He caught it like it was a toy.
Yeah, and
It
you
should
know,
have
and
exploded in his face. It would have killed him, but I mean, it should have exploded.
this also everything that was going on here and what stuff and some of the stuff that we see later. Um, we see powers that I never knew Superman
Yeah, I was
had.
thinking the same thing. Zod and Laura had a power of almost like telepathy, where with their
Yeah,
finger, right?
yeah, yeah. And but
Yeah, I
just
was
in
wondering
general,
about
like
that.
just in general, I never seen Superman duplicate himself before. I never seen him. It's a lot of stuff that I just never knew about Superman. I don't want to go jump ahead too much,
No,
but
the duplicating thing, because they were all doing it, but only at the fortress. So maybe it was just a fortress trick.
why would the Fortress be doing that for Zod and his crew?
Good
So I
question.
just I,
I
I
was
just
wondering the
assumed that
same
was
thing.
I just assumed that was a power because he said that everything we could do, Superman could do also. That's what when he learned about Superman, that's what I think Lex might have told him that.
Oh yeah, that's true. True. Um, it's like I said, the whole world's going to hell, and Clark, aka Superman, and Lois, they're on a date. Like literally out on a date, getting cozy. They even come to they leave the fortress and get ready to go back, and they stop for a burger. Uh, Clark gets his
Where did
ass
they get a
kicked for the
where
first time.
where did they get a car from?
I don't
They
know, man.
they flew from Niagara Falls to
I know.
Chicago, and
Listen, Gene,
on the
it
way
doesn't have
back,
to
they're
make
in the
sense.
car.
I didn't even think about that until you just said it. But yes, you're right. Where
The
did they
fortress
get
is
it
in the
from?
middle of nowhere. In the
Well,
middle of
apparently
nowhere.
it has a garage with a car. Who knows?
And they drove through snow.
Yep. Meanwhile, Clark gets his ass kicked for the first time, trying to stand up for himself and Lois.
He didn't like
And
that.
no, he didn't like that one bit. It didn't go well.
No.
But it was crazy to me because I don't think he should have got his. I mean, yes, he's used to being super strong, but that guy was nothing. That guy wasn't all that. He was just a jerk.
Well,
Like I feel
this
like Clark could have gotten a real fight and still held his own.
no, I don't think so. And the only reason I say that, Joe, only reason I disagree is because the guy punched him in the back of the head.
That is true.
I mean, if you get
That is
punched in the
true.
back of your head, your equilibrium is gone. And he got hit, and then he fell through the window. His face got all cut up. You know,
Yeah,
his
he
mouth was
literally said
bleeding.
blood. He
Yeah.
goes, "I'm bleeding." Yeah, you're bleeding, guy.
So now, he's obviously at that point in time, like he's not, he's not, he's probably knocked out and not conscious, because then he stands up and goes over to him, and then the guy, gives him couple of combinations and lays him
Yeah, he
out.
messed him up at that point. So when they're at this burger joint, this is where they actually find out about Zod and everything. So now he's freaking out. Oh, the other funny thing that was making me laugh before all this is they shows General Zod and his crew flying to the White House, and
Hmm.
he zaps Mount Rushmore and changes it to Zod.
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
thought that was
and
funny.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
kind of stupid, but it was still pretty funny.
yeah. But and when they get to the White House, I'm thinking, I was like, this is not as impressive as Nightcrawler when he in X2
Right?
when he storms the White House.
Oh,
That
that's a
was
good
slick.
scene too.
Yeah, that
That
was
was a good
sweet.
scene.
This, not so much.
Uh, so like I said, Zod's taking over the White House. Lex Luthor had the deal. So Lex was kind of telling him about Superman and trying to get rid of Superman, but he wasn't going to give him any information unless he gave him what he wanted. And what Lex wanted was to take over Australia.
Yeah, I really wish they would explain why. Like, why Australia? Like, what are you gonna do with Australia?
No, I think he wanted something that was away from all this and that could be just
Probably,
his.
probably.
That's all that was. He basically said that more or less.
Okay.
Uh so the crazy thing is, and again, Clark can't fly anymore, and he's already decided like giving up his powers was a bad idea. So he tells Lois to stay here and he's gonna go back and get his powers. But like you said before, like even if he had a car, he's it's gonna take him days to get back there.
But she didn't stay there. She went back
Where did she
to
go?
she went back to Metropolis.
Yeah,
And
yeah, she
because
went back to Metropolis.
yeah, she went back to the Daily Planet in the car by herself. She
Yep.
drove all the way to Metropolis by herself. Okay, I got you.
So they never showed exactly. All Clark did when he got back to the fortress was pick up the green crystal that originally made the fortress for him.
Hmm.
So I don't know what that was able to do to help him get his powers back.
I think he went and made another Fortress of Solitude because remember when he lost his powers, it was like that control panel kind of exploded and it was all
Yeah.
burnt up and wasn't together and it like it blew up. So I'm assuming this is my thought. I never read this or seen this anywhere. I'm assuming he took that damn crystal, walked outside, walked away, and threw it, and maybe it made another Fortress of Solitude. That is the only thing I can think of because otherwise he shouldn't have been able to get his powers back. Like they told him that if you do this, that's it. There's no reversing it. So and they never explain how he got his power back. We
Not
just see
he
him looking
just
at the
all of a
green
sudden,
crystal, and that was it.
yep, and then he showed back up in Metropolis. Um and Lex explains to Zod that Lois is very important to Superman. And also while they're all fighting, Zod and his people realize that Superman spends a lot of time protecting the humans. So they start using that against him.
I was wondering
Which
how
it's already 3-on-1, so he's already at a disadvantage.
I was wondering how Lex even figured that out.
About Lois?
Yeah,
I mean, if you're Lex, really all you gotta do is take a tally who's he saved the most.
but at that point in time, he's only saved her twice, really, right? Like he saved her. He saved her from the helicopter when she fell out the helicopter, and he saved her again
In
at the
LA.
with the elevator. And okay, and in L.A. Okay, but
And then, but Lex wouldn't have known about the Niagara Falls.
No, no, he wouldn't have. He shouldn't have known about LA either. How would he know that Lois
True,
was in LA? How did he know that she died? He shouldn't have known any of that.
true.
I was trying to figure out like how would Lex know about about her,
Oh,
but
maybe because she did the interview.
probably, probably, yeah, I
Maybe
guess so.
that's where he
Yeah, because he did
figured it
read
out.
that. He did read the article because that's how he found out all about him. So
Yep. Meanwhile, like I said, the fight's not going very well for Superman because it's 3-on-1 first, but second, like he's also doing his best to protect everyone. And there's falling debris, there's cars, there's buses, and like I said, the second the other Kryptonians figure out that he's going to protect people, they start using it to their advantage. So he really has to figure out a way to get him away from all the people, which he ends up in the middle of the fight. He just leaves.
yeah, he does.
Now, I thought he was going to get like a crystal or something at
Mhm.
maybe some kryptonite. I don't know what he was looking to get. I thought he was going to get like a weapon, but he did. He just left.
Yeah. He was like,
And
"Damn this!
so
I'm getting my ass whooped. I gotta go. I'm about to lose these powers
and
again."
that's what Zod takes it as a win. Zod's like, "Oh, I won." So, Lex basically says, "Well, take Lois. He'll come for Lois." But how did he lure them to the fortress?
He didn't. Lex said, "I know where his house is. I know his address, so we can go there." But like that didn't necessarily mean he was going back. Like, how would he know that he's going back there? They're in the middle of a
Yeah, that's
fight.
yeah, that made no sense.
No, it made no
I
sense.
mean,
Now, I was thinking Superman should have tried to figure out like I need to get my hands on some kryptonite. That's what I
instead
was
of
thinking.
running, instead of running from the fight, he should have lured them back to the fortress. That
Yeah,
would have made a little more sense to me.
yeah, because
But whatever.
this did not seem like he was luring them back. It just seemed like he just left. He just like, damn this, I'm getting my ass whooped. I gotta go.
And I mean, if they wanted to, they could have just started killing everybody,
Yeah. Then what he would have
including
said.
Lois, including Lois.
Yeah, because he
So
didn't know that they weren't going to do that. I mean, they were throwing things and they were doing,
that's what I'm saying.
bad things. Like, yeah, he didn't know that, he could have they could have wiped out Metropolis.
So they do bring Lois as collateral and Lex for whatever reason to the Fortress of Solitude, and then Superman. Like I said, the fight's still now he's at a bigger disadvantage because they can kill Lois at any time, so he can't really fight. For whatever reason, like you said, they were like teleporting each other during this fight. I don't know what that was all about. And then he tells Lex about losing the powers, and so thinking Lex will help him, but Lex, of course, he knows Lex will turn on him, so he uses that to his advantage. He puts himself in a chamber where he can lose his powers,
Hmm.
but he rearranged it somehow so it got everybody but him, and he was safe.
Well,
So now
maybe
they're all powerless.
so maybe Joe, maybe his plan was, okay, let me go back to the Fortress of Solitude. Let me let everybody in Metropolis die. Let me let me
That would have been a
let,
mess.
let me go to yeah, well, it would have been a bloody mess. Let me go to the Fortress of Solitude. Let me change the chamber and put all this, it outside. Then I'm gonna go
And
back to Metropolis and lure them there. Maybe that was his plan.
he even pretended like it looked like he was losing his powers and everything. Like
Yeah.
he played him pretty good because once he kneels in front of Zod, but then he grabs Zod by the hand and basically throws him. Now I don't even know what he was throwing. Or they were throwing him overboard, but like to what?
They just
To a
fell down.
bottomless chasm? Like
I I don't know, man. They just because they're still in the Fortress of Solitude. Like
yeah,
Like you're gonna leave these people in here? Like, do you have a jail in here? Do you have anything to keep them locked up? They should still be
And then
alive.
the crazy thing is, he leaves. He takes off with Lois, but he leaves Lex there.
Hmm.
Why wouldn't you take Lex back to jail?
I didn't understand that either. Exactly.
Now, this part at the end here. So at first, the whole thing's real sad. She's like, are they deciding like they can't be together?
Which we don't. They never tell us. They just, I guess, had this
Like
conversation amongst each other.
she's crying, acting like if he's Superman, they can't be together. Then he lays like a big kiss on her, and then it's almost like, did he make her forget?
Yep. Yep. That's exactly what happened.
But how?
I don't know that and once again, that's a power that Superman has that I never knew. I don't know how. I don't know how it works either. He sucked their memory away. I don't know, man.
I just, it was weird. Like all of a sudden she snapped out of it. I was like, did she just lose her memory of who he was?
Yeah. Yeah. Somehow he has the power to do that.
Okay, so if he can do that, why didn't he just do that from the beginning?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Why do you have to go through all this crap?
Yeah. Well, probably because Lois Lane probably wouldn't have stood there and kissed Clark Kent.
You're probably right.
Yeah, that would have been called something else. She would have filed a report. He probably would have lost his job. She would have reported him to Perry.
Whatever, you can just kiss Barry and make him forget.
Hey,
I
this
don't
is
know, man.
1981. They're not going to go around having Superman do all of that, just kissing everybody. If that's the
I
case,
just, it was
he could have
so
did it. If that's the case, he could have did it to Lex too and made him forget everything. Also,
so weird. This whole thing. This is just a weird way to end the movie.
it really
Like,
was.
oh, go get me a hamburger. And then I was like, if he doesn't go beat that guy up that whipped his ass,
Yeah,
which is exactly, and he really didn't even beat him up the way he should have, but he he goes to get her hamburger at the same diner, but he shows up and makes sure to, because of course that guy's still there,
hmm,
and Clark walks right up to him and gets in his face. Now he, like I said, he could have destroyed the place and beat him up some more, but instead he spins the chair so it comes all the way up, puts him on the table, and slides him all the way. What did he hit a pinball machine or something?
yeah. So that basically, I should have killed him in real life, or broke his neck or something. And
And then,
everybody in there should have known, like, okay, this is Superman.
but instead they're looking at him. He goes, "Oh yeah, I've been working out. What in the last 2 days?"
Right.
So yeah, he gets his revenge, and he leaves some money to
Hmm.
pay for any of the damages, I guess. And then, I mean, that's basically where we end the movie
Yeah,
until Super.
that's pretty
Oh
much
yeah,
it.
he's helping put the White House back together as well.
Yeah, yeah, and that's Superman 2. So, what grade are you giving this movie?
Um, I mean, there's a few things that I have an issue with, so I'm probably gonna say like a B plus. It was still a good movie
I'm giving it a
for
C still.
1981.
I'm
Still with
giving
a
it a
C, huh?
Yeah, I'm still giving
You
it a
said this is
C.
your favorite one.
It is my favorite one. It only goes downhill from here.
Yeah, I know.
I now that's only what I remember. I have not seen Superman 3 in a long time, and I have not seen Superman 4 in a long time. But I don't really remember. But I know that most people think that 3 and 4 are really, really bad. And I know Richard Pryor is in 3. Now,
I can't wait for that.
yeah. So now this also lets you know how bad 3 and 4 are. There's another Superman movie, Superman Returns.
Yeah, I was just about to ask about that.
Superman Returns is not with Christopher Reeve. It's with what's his name? Brandon Roth.
Yeah,
I think that's his name.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah. And this movie is supposed to actually be Superman 3. they when this came out, Superman Returns came out,
So
they
they
said
just deleted 3 and 4,
yes, they are saying skip 3 and 4. You don't know
but
those
that one
movies.
didn't come out till
Listen,
2006.
exactly, exactly.
Wow,
And the reason I'm saying that is because something. Did you ever see Superman Returns?
long time ago.
Okay, so there's going to be something that's going to get revealed in Superman um Returns th- because of what happened in this movie. So technically, it's supposed to be the third movie. It's supposed to be number three, right? But we're not going to jump ahead. We're going to go ahead and go in order. We're going to watch three and then four. Then we're going to get to the Superman Returns, and then we'll talk about
Oh,
it and put together.
I didn't realize this is who played him. This guy's been in a ton of stuff. Brandon Routh.
Yeah, he played Superman in Arrowverse also. When they did one of the crossovers, they got him to be the Kingdom Come Superman. So yeah,
Oh
they got
yeah,
they brought him back for one of the crossovers. But
but
also
he's
he
in the
was in
Heroes,
yes, Legend of
the
Tomorrow.
Heroes Legends of Tomorrow as
Yeah.
Adam.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, so he was part of the CW universe also.
And
But
this I didn't realize this Superman Returns was Bryan Singer.
no, I didn't know that.
He directed it.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'll tell you, I meant to ask you this the last time. Uh, overall, as Superman, are you a bigger fan of Christopher Reeves or Cavill?
Ah, and it's funny you asked that because I was going to ask you that also. Um, honestly, man, I'm going to go with Henry Cavill. Uh, that's kind of hard to say, man, because when you think of Superman, I mean you have to think of Christopher Reeve. You have to think of him. Like he is all these other Supermen are modeled after him. I think they try and get someone that vaguely resembles Christopher Reeve or reminds
I'm
you
gonna
of
tell you.
Christopher Reeve.
I'm gonna tell you how my mind works.
Okay.
Okay, and I did the question I did ask was Superman, but for me, when you think of a character as Superman, you still have to think Superman and Clark Kent. Just like
Yeah.
Spider Man, you got to think Spider Man and
Peter Parker.
Peter Parker. So to me, Christopher Reeves is a better
Clark.
Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Cavill is a better Superman.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's how I look at it.
But
So
also, do you think that it's kind of unfair for that comparison based upon the writing of these early Superman movies? Because I think that's what like the writing is not very good. The stories are fine. I'm okay with the idea of and the concept that they're trying to do, but the
yeah,
writing is just like I said. I think it's because we're used to we've had so many superhero movies at this point in 2025, and then back in 1980, 78, and 81, there was nothing else as far as movie wise. So
no,
it's
not
kind of
totally.
unfair to compare, but at the same time, we're just conditioned and used to a certain type of writing now, you know. And it's kind of hard, man. But I do like I mean Henry Cavill did not he didn't really seem we didn't really get to see a lot of him as Clark. We saw him as Clark, but he did not act like it seemed like Christopher Reeves went out of his way to be a goofy, nerdy guy so nobody would ever think that he was Superman. And Henry Cavill Clark Kent didn't he just had the glasses on, you know. He didn't we didn't really get him acting like how Christopher Reeves act as so I agree
Dude,
with you.
he's too big and too handsome. What are you gonna do?
Well, I think they're
It's
about
not
the same
surprising.
height. I
He
think they're actually
he
about around
can't
the same
play a
height.
nerd. He can't play a nerd.
Yeah, yeah. So
And the other thing I was gonna tell you, I forgot about. So I was talking to my father-in-law about starting this podcast and
uh-huh.
with the Superman, starting with Superman. He has a friend. He sold the horse to Christopher Reeves that messed him up,
Oh, wow.
and I was like, "Oh man, I wouldn't want to be that guy."
I wouldn't want to be the horse. Did they put him down?
I don't probably. I didn't even ask, but I was like, wait. You know the guy that sold that horse to him? He's
Wow.
like, yeah, I guess it was a championship horse, and he
Mm.
wanted it, so he went to him and he bought it for a good price.
Well, did
And I
the
was like,
horse
well,
get
that
did the horse get spooked by a snake or something? Or what? Why did it? What happened?
I don't remember exactly, but yeah, it just changed the course of that dude's life for sure.
Yeah, I see that on Max. There's a documentary about him. I don't know if I really want to watch it though. I got to be in a certain mood to watch that, man. And that's probably gonna be really, kind of sad. I'm not
Those
really up
things are
to it.
real interesting, but like I like to remember people, like Muhammad Ali. I like to remember
Yeah,
Muhammad Ali, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, kicking
right.
ass, not, standing up for award ceremonies, shaking and looking a hot
Yeah,
mess. Like
yeah,
I remember
yeah.
the dude kicking ass, man.
Right, right. All right, so next week we got Superman 3. Like I said, I don't know where I'm walking into. Like I said, I've seen these the first two plenty of times, so I kind of knew I had an idea. I do not know what we're walking into with Superman 3, so
Well, it
hopefully
could
it's
be
a little
fun
bit enjoyable. Hopefully it's a little bit
for sure.
enjoyable. All right, you got anything else, Joe?
Oh man, I'm good. I'm having fun with this.
All right, cool. Me too, man. So next week, Superman 3, and then on Fifth Kicks and Flicks, we are doing Rocky Balboa, which is technically Rocky 6. So make sure
Yep.
you guys check that out. This week we just finished Cobra Kai season 6, episode 15, and the series recap and season recap. So if you like Cobra Kai, why don't you check out Fists, Kicks, and Flicks? Just look for it on YouTube or on whatever you're using for your podcasting. All right. That's it, Joe.
That's it.
All right, everyone. Stay safe, stay strong, and like Joe says, stay super. And I will play
Yeah. I
our
like it.
music.